been needing to find a new apartment, which has not been easy with credit as bad as mine. Luckily, I found cosigning.com. They connected me with a cosigner who helped me get my dream apartment for me and my dog. I just paid a small fee and was able to move in fast. Get the cosigner you need for the apartment you want. Check out cosigning.com today.
It's articles like this that reinforce that where I live at now in the great state of Texas is its own actual country. Right now, there is a case going before the Supreme Court about porn and its access, its ability to be accessed by children. Texas has enacted laws which required ID verification. Why would anybody push back against that? We all know that we live in different times nowadays. When I was a kid, everyone did not have cell phones. There was no access to porn. You had to watch a fuzzy channel, I think the Spice Channel, and it was really difficult to watch. Now you can get on Twitter, you can get anywhere you want and just see nakedness, debauchery. And apparently, scientists or people who do research into human behavior said that an overexposure to pornography changes a person. It rewrites the way their brain works, and it makes it harder for them to pair bond and form relationships. There's a lot of people are being diagnosed with a lot of things that they blame on pornography. Now, though I'm a conservative, this is where my libertarian biases come in. And I don't believe that you should tell people what they should and should not do. If you're a grown adult, if you want to watch a little bit of porn to help get things going because the spices aren't there at home, you know, we are humans. It's not when it comes to individuals and humans, it's not one size fits all. You know, it's different strokes for different folks. I've been in long-time relationships, and yeah, you got to do what you got to do sometimes because you're coming home to the same person. It doesn't work like where you're just always happy and everything's always fun. You don't want to step out of your home. And I mean, if this is a side, I'm not pro porn, but I'm not anti-porn either. I believe porn does serve its purpose. However, it should be restricted and children should not have access to it. Giving children just open, wild access to it is an experiment. We don't know what it does to people long-term who start very, very young watching it. In this situation, this is the government of Texas, which is its own country, trying to protect its children. The question is, why are only children in Texas being granted this same protection? There's 49 other states. This lawsuit is only focusing on Texas. I love Ken Paxton. I love Greg Abbott. I love what they did when they protected the state of Texas from the lockdown and Fauciism and all the technocratic nonsense. They didn't go along with it. And because of that, our country was saved and our country is open and free till this day. Had Texas and Florida buckled, we will live in a completely different universe right now, but they didn't. So I respect them, and there will be no slander of Greg Abbott. There will be nothing said about him in my presence. I will defend him every day because of Greg Abbott, I was attracted to move to Texas in the first place from California, and it took a lot. So Ken, there's actually a video about this. Let's watch the video, and then I'm going to read the article. Okay.
Law, a pursuit over that, lost it. District court got an injunction against them.
Super low.
Having to decide on the injunction. And so, hearing the questions and seeing the comments by the justice, I feel very.
I'll just read it to you. What he's saying is that they were being fought by the porn industry was fighting back against them, and they kept having to fight in court, and now it's already moved up to the Supreme Court. Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton is fighting to uphold a Texas law he says is keeping the pornography industry from targeting children with harmful content. If someone's trying to create a safeguard for children and you go against it, it's a bad look no matter what. How do you justify it? Oh, because it becomes harder for adults to access porn because they got to take a couple of extra steps to verify that they're an adult. You got to verify you're an adult to do all kinds of stuff. I mean, that's just like providing an ID to vote. It's not too much of an inconvenience unless you're a kid and you're trying to get access to porn in the state of Texas. I'll be honest, I don't think it goes far enough. I think it should go further. Passed in 2023 and signed into law by Greg Abbott of Texas, the law requires porn sites to verify a user's age. Ages through official documentation such as a driver's license or government-issued ID. Under the law, failure to implement age verification results in fines. That's fair. That's fair. If I own a strip club, I can't just say, "Oh yeah, I'm not asking for ID." If you're going to let kids in, you're going to get shut down. Meanwhile, a collection of porn sites calling itself for the Free Speech Coalition argues that the Texas law curbs the First Amendment rights and places an undue burden on Texas adults from accessing their content. That is ridiculous. They're kind of making it seem like this extra step to verify one's identity and age before they can access it is they're kind of trying to make it seem like it's the same as when they're trying to ask you, for a background check to buy a gun. It's not like that. So, but what they're doing is they know people don't believe in background checks because we have a Second Amendment right to bear arms, but there is no whatever amendment right to have access to free sex on video. That I'm sorry. The founders were clever. They weren't that goddamn clever where they're just throwing stuff like that willy-nilly into the pie. And it's not, in my opinion, this is not about free speech. This is about getting kids hooked on something early. The same way doctors and drug companies want to give your kids Ritalin and Adderall when they're children to get someone addicted to their product. It's the same with any industry. What about all these chemicals in the food? What about the things they do to liquor that they don't do in other countries? Everything has its angle to get new clients. You can't be mad at the porn industry for trying to market itself to a younger audience so that they can have a larger base of people that will eventually grow up and be addicted to porn. Porn is something that people are addicted to. It is a heavy thing. And I didn't used to believe in porn addiction, but I've actually seen some people that have a legit addiction. And it can literally harm relationships, your job, everything. I didn't know that it existed, but it does. Pornhub, the country's most popular adult content website, went so far as to disable access to their website for all users in Texas after the Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals ruled to uphold the law. They didn't have to do that. They could have just simply added some safeguards where you're verifying identification to make sure someone's not underage. Shutting down services to spite your own customers, in a way, it makes it look like you actually were targeting kids. And you got called out about it. You got embarrassed and you got mad and you stormed out of the room through a hissy fit. You could have just added the safeguards. It doesn't take much time, but it's not like all porn sites have to do that people in Texas want to look at. I mean, they focus on Pornhub because they were the biggest, but not by far are they the only. So, I mean, it kind of defeats, it's kind of pointless in a way because you can just go to another website and access the same material. When the two sides finally came face to face this Wednesday to make their decision, they're going to bring their case before the Supreme Court. So they're both going to meet in court, state of Texas and the Free Speech Coalition for Porn. They're going to meet in the Supreme Court this coming Wednesday, and we're going to see how it goes. For the most part, they're saying that the justices agree with Ken Paxton in the state of Texas. However, there are some justices that still have concerns about the Texas law's prohibitions were a little bit too broad and could impact other areas. Give me one second. Sorry about that. It's 1:30 in the morning. You get drunk phone calls from your girlfriend, and they don't understand why you're at home talking to the computer. But I'd rather be doing this than sometimes hanging out with some of these people. Anyways, so The question before the court now is whether the Texas law should be subject to a rationale basis or strict scrutiny review, and the latter of which will require Texas to meet the narrowest standards to uphold the age verification requirement. If this doesn't go and they side with the porn industry, then that means they can start laxing on age verification for anything. This will change the precedents. And it's literally this goes against law. So we will see where the chips fall in a few days. Again, I don't believe in telling people what they should and should not do. I think porn is some people call it evil. I think it's a necessary evil sometimes, but to a person's, it's just like access to anything. Alcohol can poison you and kill you if you drink too much of it. You have to know your limits as an adult, and you have to do everything in moderation. I think everything that you can develop a vice for is the same, and porn is one of those things where you can definitely have a vice for it. And everything is, you got to do everything in moderation. But it's up to you as an individual. You don't need daddy government to tell you what you can and cannot do. However, when it comes to protecting children, since Texas is its own country and the rest of the country doesn't seem to care, Texas does got to do what it has to do to protect its own children, because apparently the other states, because the way it works in the United States, it's 50 different countries under a federal umbrella. The governor is the president of each state. The only president that gives a damn about his kids apparently is Ken Paxton. Or Greg Abbott, I'm sorry, and he's the AG. So like and subscribe to the page, Safe and Effective Podcast on Instagram, Rumble, YouTube. Come to the YouTube page. I got a few new subscribers, so we're trying to get the numbers up. And I'll be back on, if not tonight, probably tomorrow. She's probably gonna get here and talk my ear off, probably have some drinks or whatever. So I'll talk to you guys. We'll be back shortly. Remember, tell Klaus Schwab and the World Economic Forum to go to hell. We will not comply. Thank you, and I will see you guys again shortly. And here's a word from our sponsor, cosigning.com.
After a ton of stress and worry because of my super low credit score, we were finally able to sign on my dream apartment. I wouldn't have been able to do it without cosigning.com. I was able to get a guarantor that was signed with me so that I could obtain this amazing apartment.